after being swept is not what they had in mind, and that's what they'll try to avoid today, down 0-2 to Portland. And ironically, after nothing more than an average second half, the Blazers have really burst back to life. They're having a lot of fun now, pretty loose in practice, and they can thank Scottie Pippen for where they're at. A season-high 28 points in Game 1, followed by 21 in Game 2. It has Minnesota on the verge of its fourth straight first-round exit. Half minutes longer, and it looks like the 34-year-old kid out there.
This shooter. In Game 1, he doesn't go to the foul line at all. He's taking a lot of fadeaway jump shots, also long straight-up jump shots. He has to take the ball to the basket like he did in the second game. He got to the foul line 10 times by driving it to the hoop, taking the contact. Also, the one thing for Kevin Garnett, he has to learn a couple of post-up moves, pet post-up moves that Kevin McHale could teach him, because he has to.
Game 3. With the latest on this first-round matchup, here's Josie Carr.
It's a defensive player. Here, Carter's guarding pretty well, and this is a tough shot. Go to the middle, and that 12-foot jump shot's one of the toughest shots to make. He makes it in a clutch, and they beat Toronto in the second game. Also, defensively, the Knicks are a tremendous defensive club. You got Sprewell guarding Carter in the post. Watch him deny him the basketball, force him out on top of the three-point line to catch. As soon as he catch, Patrick Ewing goes for the double team aggressively, and here's Charlie Ward rotating, picks up the bad pass, a layup on the end. The Knicks are a tremendous defense.
Federal Express delivery of the week, and guess who's running the break for the Lakers? Shaquille O'Neal, the big fella with the sweet dish to Kobe Bryant, who gets the throwdown. Let's take another look. Shaq, smooth as he's running the floor, the dish to Kobe. And there's your Federal Express delivery of the week.
Pistons coach, I guess you could say they put a fork in him thanks to Spoon.
Oh, exactly right. Weatherspoon did a great job coming off the bench, and when Riley came with his bench players, Weatherspoon, Thorpe, and Buford, it turned the game around. He took out Morning to start, and then they rolled it up in the first half, but with no Grant Hill. Little chance for the Pistons.
Pacers go up 2-1 on the Bucks now, thanks to Reggie Miller again.
Oh, you gotta love Reggie. He said he was going to be aggressive in the game. You hear so many players say this. He averages 13 points, 13 shots a game during the regular season. He took 27 shots last night. Gets 34 points. He was tremendous the entire game. And this is a great series.
That is. Again, they play again Monday night, by the way. Spurs fall to Phoenix without Tim Duncan again, but well, these are winnable games for the Spurs.
Oh, exactly right. David Robinson was great yesterday, 37 points, but he needs some help. Avery Johnson gave him no help. Elliott gave him no help. On the other end, Penny Hardaway was sensational and got terrific help in the fourth period from Day, who had 16 points, and Marion had 14. He's getting the help. Robinson's not getting the help in this series.
That series is now 2-1 Phoenix. And the Sonics, they get one back from the Jazz. Their main guys finally got going.
You can never count out Gary Payton. He's such a tremendous competitor. Coming home, you know he'd play big. But he finally got a help from Baker. Baker has to play aggressively. He used to be one of the top offensive rebounders in the NBA. Here you can see him going aggressively on the glass. He has to continue to do that. They can take this series to 5 games and bring it back to the They lose the game, and the last game he dominates the paint with 6 blocks and totally dominated the fourth period. Plus, he scored 9 points a game and 11 rebounds. You would never think that Theo would have been the MVP of the series, but so far he has.
Point in 45 minutes. Eldon Campbell, 7 feet tall, manages just 4 rebounds in 35 minutes. Their post game has been absolutely impotent, for crying out loud. They have absolutely nothing going on.
In the first couple of games, Kobe Bryant on his game, and it looked as though the Lakers might once again come out on top.
It'll be Bryant.
And while Kobe led the Lakers, Chris Webber was all business for the underdogs from Northern California. He led them up for 29 points. With Shaquille O'Neal having not one of his better games, Kobe picked up the offensive slack. He canned a career playoff high 35. Flashy guard Jason Williams worked his magic too, and the Kings close strong to stay alive in this best-of-5 series. Portland came to Minnesota with hopes of a clean sweep. Timberwolves point guard Terrell Brandon responded with a huge effort. 16 of his playoff career high 28 coming in the first half. Kevin Garnett had his second triple-double of the series. A throwdown, part of an 11-0 Wolves run, and the young Wolves feeding off the boisterous Target Center crowd. The Blazer defense getting them back in the game. Off the block, fast break bucket from Scottie Pippen. Garnett, though, the difference, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. The Wolves live to see another day. Game 4 set for Tuesday, same place. Vince Carter and the Raptors hope to avoid playoff extinction. At the hands of the New York Knicks, Carter held in check for the most part. Quiet 15 for him. Carter's cousin, Tracy McGrady, getting the home crowd excited with that fancy pass to Antonio Davis. But the battle-tested Warriors in blue silenced the young guns from Canada. A banker off glass for 3. That's Larry Johnson. The New Yorkers are headed to the second round. They will face the Miami Heat.
In the third quarter, Yugoslavia's Vlade Divac rejects Ron Harper's layup. Jason Williams runs the fast break. And watch the exciting no-look pass to Nick Anderson for the layup. This is what you call a great team effort. Great D, great passing, and a nice finish in Sacramento for our World Sport Play of the Day.
Bank on a broken left toe and adding to his pain just before half. And just after laying in this one, he bangs his elbow off the Hornets' Anthony Mason. Went down in obvious pain, but Iverson sucked it up and continued. Hornets rallying in the third. Croatian Toni Kukoc trying to body up, but it's turned over to Eddie Jones. He gets it to Baron Davis for the jam. Charlotte by 4 after 3. But that's when Aaron McKie started to light it up for the Sixers. 4 consecutive three-pointers. He had 25 points in the game, and we're tied. And then Iverson taking it from there. Slashing in the lane. Gets the floater to go, and then the fall away from the corner. 26 points for Iverson as the Sixers won 105-99. Much to the delight of owner Pat Croce, Philly wins the series 3-1, and they advance to the second round thanks to a surprise breakout game from McKie. Sixers are winner of the Milwaukee-Indiana series. Bucks in the third quarter on the run. That's Ray Allen with a double pump lay-in. And the Bucks working the ball around. Scott Williams to Sam Cassell. Back to Williams for the slam. 27-point lead at that point for the Bucks over the top-seeded Pacers. Not all things were going well for Milwaukee. Watch Ray Allen in the paint. Gets hit on the head by Jalen Rose. Ouch.
And Ray Allen.
A couple of stitches above the eye. Had to be carried off to the locker room to receive those stitches, but he did return. How about Darvin Ham, the big monster slam? The Bucks going to win in a laugher here. 100-87 in this series. Not expected to be this close. Is now tied at 2 apiece. Game 5 Thursday. Today we go back to the playoff game between Milwaukee and Indiana. Milwaukee's Ray Allen trying to beat the first quarter buzzer. Oh yeah, take it to the bank. Allen giving the Bucks a boost en route to squaring their second round series with the Pacers. And it's our play of the day.
The Spurs staring down postseason elimination, played in Phoenix Tuesday against the Suns team that welcomed back Jason Kidd, out since mid-March with a broken ankle. And the Suns got it going early behind many players, including Terry Porter. But the Spurs came back in the opening half of the second half behind David Robinson's 21 points, 16 rebounds. San Antonio still trailed by a half dozen, and then Kidd went to work. The nice move and the layup, part of a 9 points, 10-assist effort for Kidd in his first game back. He had it going here with Anthony Hardaway. Hardaway and Kidd are excited. Why not? They eliminate the defending champions and have their own ticket punch to the second round. By Sacramento, and this series would go to a 5th and decisive game. In the opening half, the Kings were loaded and ready. Off the break, John Barry pulls up and nails the three-pointer. Then Chris Webber cans the hook shot to end the opening half. Kings by 11 at the break. Things got a little testy in the third quarter between Vlade Divac and Kobe Bryant. Bryant with the push, but look at the Oscar-winning performance here by Vlade. Very nice. Webber working against A.C. Green later in the third period. Webber, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. This series is knotted at 2 games apiece. Game 5 in Los Angeles on Friday. Portland had hoped to close out their first-round series with Milwaukee on Tuesday. Kevin Garnett got it going early. The nice up-and-under baseline layup there, and then Garnett from three-point range. He had 17 points. T-Wolves by 4 at the break. Here come the Trailblazers, though, behind Rasheed Wallace. He takes Garnett inside and scores. Blazers within 2, and then they pull ahead. Scottie Pippen to Steve Smith for the bucket and the foul. Portland is headed to the second round of the playoffs.
Came out a bit flat, outscored 24-7 in the second quarter, fell behind by 14 at the half. Finn Baker, solid game, he hit up 18. Utah played better in the third quarter to whittle into the deficit. Jeff Hornacek's layup helped cut into the Sonic lead. Gary Payton using the pick, then hitting a tough shot. Payton with 35 of the night en route to his first playoff triple-double. Jazz keeping it close thanks to the hot shooting of Hornacek. He had 16. It's a 2-point game after that 3. 20-year-old Rashard Lewis handled pressure just like a veteran. He scored 20. And the Sonics would not look back. Sloan and Karl Malone ejected. This deadlock series headed back to Salt Lake now for a do-or-die 5th game decider.
He wanted to get mad about a lot of things, and I'm not going to back down from anybody. If that's the way he wants to go, then we can go there.
And as Superman, Reggie Miller had anything to do with it, and Miller certainly did his part. 14 points in the opening quarter alone. Miller, 41 points in the game. Early second half, Sam Cassell got hot for the Bucks, hitting the jumper there after the assist from Ray Allen. Then Cassell takes Mark Jackson off the dribble. He nails the jumper. Cassell with 22 points. This one close throughout. Late third quarter, Dale Davis gets loose under the bucket. He slams it home. Pacers by 1. Then it's Jalen Rose with the jumper over Cassell here. Rose, 10 points in the third period. Indiana hung on to win by 1. They next face Philadelphia in round 2. Better in Southern California. The big 3 coming up big in the opening half for the Lakers. Glenn Rice with the bank shot inside the lane. Kobe Bryant gets in on the act, knocking down the short jumper here. And Shaquille O'Neal. You can't forget Shaq. Misses the bucket down low, but gets the rebound, finishes with the putback. The trio combining for 41 points for the Lakers in the opening half. LA by 15 at the break. More from Shaq in the second half. Kobe finding Shaq for the short jumper. O'Neal, 32 points of the night during a timeout. Kobe and teammate John Sally get into a little argument. They would later kiss and make up. It seemed to fire up Kobe as the game wore on. Bryant with the jumper off the glass, and then Kobe knocks down the long 3, part of a 17-point effort. It was a huge scare, but in the end, Los Angeles protected their home court advantage, and they're into round 2 of the playoffs. I'm done. Why don't we find out? Karl Malone looking oh so young, part of a 17-point first half for the mailman. Final seconds of the second quarter, Gary Payton drives, stumbles, recovers, and banks in the jumper through 3 defenders. Seattle, though, trailed by 4 at the break. Third quarter, Jeff Hornacek loads up and drains a 3, part of a 13.5 rebound, 5-assist effort, much to the delight of his daughter. The mailman bringing it on in the third period. John Stockton inside to Malone. Stockton, one of 15 assists. There another to Malone. And then Malone drills the turnaround jumper, part of a 27-point effort for Karl Malone, and the Utah Jazz say, bring on Portland in round 2. The Indiana Pacers limbered up for a rumble with Philadelphia. In the opening quarter, Miller and Jalen Rose were pretty much a 2-man wrecking crew. The pair combined for 37 points in the opening half, the same as the entire Sixers team. Both Rose and Miller had 40 points at day's end. But the Sixers made a run early in the second half. Tyrone Hill to Allen Iverson. Sweets. Sixers are now within 8. Iverson then feeds George Lynch. Lynch misses, but Theo Ratliff is there for the follow-up slam. It's a 6-point game. The Pacers held on when it counted. Rose, the feed to Austin Crozier for the reverse stuff. Pacers by 9 after 3. They win in a rout to set the tone in what could be a long series. They set
hosting the Phoenix Suns in Game 1 of their series today. Let's get the latest now from L.A. with Tom Rinaldi.
In the relative terms of the NBA postseason, it's the team that's rested versus the team that was tested. But now the Suns face their ultimate test, Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers center was dominant against the Kings in the first round, and Sacramento seemingly had better ways to match up against him. In the Lakers' regular season sweep over Phoenix, O'Neal averaged 33 points per game. A broken ankle was pivotal in the Suns' series-clinching win, but his contributions went beyond his 9 points and 10 assists. Kid's leadership and the tandem he forms with Penny Hardaway will present the Lakers with their own defensive challenge in the backcourt, one Kobe Bryant will have to answer.
It's going to be a challenge for us. We're not really used to the rhythm and the style that they play. And we're looking forward to the matchup. They have two big guards, and so do we.
I think both of those guys
Shaq is going to have a field day with Luke Longley because Luke Longley is really good for nothing outside of 6 fouls. They've got to attack. They've got to use Penny Hardaway and Jason Kidd, as well as Cliff Robinson and Rodney Rogers here.
6'7", 6'8". Penny Hardaway had a tremendous series against the Spurs. He averaged 20 a game against the Lakers. He has to do the same thing to give Phoenix a chance. Watch this move by Kobe. Spin, reverse back on Penny. Tremendous offensive.
Now they've hopped a flight to Portland to visit the Blazers today. That was a team that was very tough on Utah during the regular season, winning 3 of 4. And in last year's playoffs, it was Portland which sent the Jazz packing. Two teams very familiar with each other as they take their Western Conference semifinal series one more time.
And Jimmy Jackson. You look at the situation, Pippen can defend anybody that Utah throws at him outside of Karl Malone. He doesn't have to defend Greg Ostertag or Older Polynice, as we well know. And Steve Smith is a big-time money play in the crunch.
They have battled in 3 playoff series, each going the distance with the Knicks winning twice. This rivalry is about as close as it gets, filled with classic moments like last season's Game 5 and this year's regular season finale.
We've had 3 ultimate series.
Be interesting and pretty much even kill because we have the same type of play.
You have to play.
Rivalry has also been marred by ugliness. Tempers flared in both the 97 and 98 playoffs, leading to fights and suspensions. That is a part of history all the participants say they do not want to revisit.
It was 2 incidents, 2 games, you know.
But on the Sixers and squashing them. Now, here are some of the highlights. And prominently featured, Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose, Coach, 40 each.
I tell you, 40 each. Jalen Rose being a free agent at the end of this year, what a time to be a free agent. But Reggie Miller has really stepped up. In Game 5, in the last series, he was huge. He comes up with 40 in this series. The defense of Philly was terrible. Wide open shots all day for Indiana. I think that Larry Brown, when he shows his 76ers the films of this game, he will really get them riled up for game 2. And I think we'll see an outstanding defensive effort by Philadelphia in Game 2.
That's going to be a movie they don't want to see again.
Exactly.
Miller
right.
and Rose, they drop a tidy little 80. And megawatt stars have really lit it up so far in the playoffs. And whether they or somebody else will make the differences for their teams in the second round.
Will step up big in the first conference playoffs. All the big-time players were the difference in the series. Here you got Stockton, who made great play after great play. Stockton to Malone, we've heard that quite often.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Steven, real quickly before we get away, what's the over-under on?
Let's look to square up the series at a game apiece. Third quarter, Charlie Ward dishes to Ewing. Patrick didn't shoot that well in this game, evidenced by the shot that goes off the backboard. But look at Allen Houston coming in aggressively. The rebound jam, Knicks by 3. Later in the third quarter, Latrell Sprewell. Double team most of the game here, finds Larry Johnson. He had 12. 6 Knicks in double figures in this contest. And check out the great ball movement by the Knicks. They go around, get it down to Ewing. The Knicks building a comfortable double-digit lead in this game. The Heat came back to make it mildly close late, but crisp passing, and it's Charlie Ward nailing the three-pointer as Boris Becker looks on. The Knicks win this one 82-76. Another win by a road team in this series, which now shifts to New York, starting with Game 3 on Friday.
Utah's Karl Malone nursing a sprained knee in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals against Portland here as he watches Rasheed Wallace knock him down and follow his own miss. Blazers up by 8 early. Second quarter, more Blazers off the back pick. Bonzi Wells takes the alley-oop from Detlef Schrempf. Portland up by 9. Then Lithuanian Arvydas Sabonis, the nice drive as his parents look on and enjoy it. Blazers by 21 at the half, and they just went to work even more in the third quarter. Steve Smith had 19. Portland rolls 103-85 to take a commanding 2-love lead in the series. Game 3 is Thursday in Salt Lake City.
Capturing 120 of 121 votes cast. Shaq led the Lakers to a 65-17 record, the best in the NBA, averaging 29.7 points, 13.6 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. He has dominated in the postseason as well, scoring just under 31 points a game and grabbing just under 17 rebounds.
This year, I just wanted to come out and be very consistent and dominate and play hard. This is the best team that I've ever played on.
Won the award in the most lopsided vote count ever. The MVP trophy was first handed out in 1956. And his dominance is even more impressive if you take a look at the highest relies on their win in Miami. And Latrell Sprewell nearly didn't make it. He had a car wreck on his way to Madison Square Garden. Was he okay? You judge for yourself. Great move there for the lane. Sprewell taking control. Now this game and this series is also touted as the battle of the big men. Patrick Ewing against Alonzo Mourning. Ewing with the hook. Mourning comes back in style with a slam. The Heat up by 4. Late in the first half, scary moment for Zoe and for the Heat. He goes up and watch the ankle as it turns. Zoe would leave the game, but he came back and played the second half. On to the second half. Mourning on the bench with 4 fouls. Who picks up the slack? P.J. Brown, a double-double for him as the Heat win in New York by 1 point in overtime. 77-76, an extremely low-scoring game.
The Los Angeles Lakers went to Phoenix on Friday searching for the commanding edge in their Western Conference playoff series. Suns got off to a good start. Kevin Johnson with the lay-in there. Phoenix led by 10 after the opening period. Lakers made a run before halftime. Kobe Bryant, the bounce pass Shaquille O'Neal. O'Neal had 16 points, 8 rebounds at the break. LA by only 2 at halftime. Second half showtime. O'Neal had 37 points. Glenn Rice from downtown for 3. The Suns try and mount a comeback. But keep an eye on Cliff Robinson, the right part of the screen. He goes down hard on his ankle. He'd return later in the game, but the Suns would not, as they chase the long odds of becoming the first team to rally from an 0-3 hole to win a best-of-7 NBA playoff series.
The 7 series, the Lakers in good mood, but that would change soon after the game started. Check out this shot by Jason Kidd. He was firing on all cylinders. 22 points, 16 assists, 10 rebounds for him. More from the Suns. Cliff Robinson with the 3 had 32, and Robinson this time with the steal and dunks. Big game for Cliff Robinson. More of the same in the second half. The long pass, and it's Sean Marion. Big dunk down inside as the Suns win this one easily and stay alive in the series, 117-98. In the other Western Conference semifinal, Karl Malone and Utah were trying to avoid a sweep of their own at home against Portland. Malone with some great hustle. John Stockton from 3, and that is good. Second quarter, Blazers trying to hang in. Rasheed Wallace gets the ball in the post. He goes up for the unorthodox dunk. The Jazz led by 5 at the half, though, and they would hold on to win. John Stockton takes it baseline for the reverse layup, 18 points and 9 assists. We'll have more NBA later in the show.
Start Tim Hardaway's injury time. Injury reduced his playing time in Game 4 against the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. So Anthony Carter dishing to Alonzo Mourning for the Duck. 27 points for Mourning. Latrell Sprewell playing well for the Knicks. The high layup off the glass. Then he drives past Jamal Mashburn for the layup. Knicks by 1. Third quarter, Charlie Ward. Not normally your star for the Knicks, but he took control in this game. 20 points, including the Knicks' final 9 points in the contest. New York winning this one 91-83 to square this annual derby at 2 games. It
was out the series against the Sixers. First quarter, Philly takes control. Allen Iverson from the wing with a 3. And then it's Allen again from the other wing. The Sixers open up this game with a 15-0 run. Second quarter, Sixers staying aggressive. Tony Kukoc, no look past Theo Ratcliffe with a big slam. He had 26 points and 9 rebounds. And everything was going the Sixers' way. Kukoc with a scoop hoop right there. Kukoc added 13 on the night. Second half, more of the same. Rick Smits can't find the range on the dunk. And Sixers' only Pat Croce is happy about his team's performance. They were up by 25 and they held on to win easily. Rose gets picked by Aaron McKee, and it's Allen Iverson getting the hoop. Sixers coach Larry Brown downplayed the absence of Miller.
Trophy from NBA legend Bill Russell. Then he went to work against the Knicks and had trouble early on. He can't handle the pass, and Latrell Sprewell scoops up the loose ball, goes in for 2 of his 24 points. This game stayed close throughout. Morning stepped it up defensively, gets the block at one end on Sprewell, and at the other, Morning cans the jumper part of 18 points for Zoe. Miami by 6 at the half. Then Tim Hardaway would lead a charge in the third quarter. First the driving layup, and he drew the foul. Then Hardaway drains the 3. Dan Marley added some long-range bombs late as well. Miami is now 1 win away from ending the next season.
When its guard Bobby Phills died after a crash on January the 12th. Well, a moment of silence was observed at the Western Conference Finals opener between the Lakers and Portland in Los Angeles. On to action from the game. Kobe Bryant finds Shaquille O'Neal for the big jam. He had 41 points and 11 rebounds. The Laker bench would then take over. Horry from three-point land. That's good. And then Rick Fox also hits from downtown. Horry would get another one. He had 12 points off the bench, and then things fell apart for Portland.
Whack! Get out! I asked him 3 times to stop there, but he was trying to intimidate me. I'm done. He's done. I asked him, I told him.
Wallace getting his second technical foul without saying a word, a fact which angered many of the Blazers players. That was a point of controversy in this game, and after Wallace was ejected, the Blazers just couldn't get back into the game. By the way, Shaq went to the free throw line 25 times in the fourth quarter, and that is a new playoff record.
By the way, in Game 5, he gets 10 points in the third quarter. Right here, he busts by Charlie Ward. Looks like he might be getting healthy. Anthony Carter has made huge, big shots in this series. In Game 3, he is the star with that great shot from behind the baskets, which he wins the... not stepped up. Charlie Ward should be playing 40 minutes for the Knicks because Charles is not playing well. He's the only guy pushing the ball up the floor, creating a fast break situation, taking the ball to the basket, creating plays for his teammates. He has played extremely well, hitting big three-point shots, taking the ball to the basket. He's been the outstanding point guard in the series. So I think today's game, play him 40 minutes, let him take charge of the team. I think Charlie Ward could be the difference in today.
Don't tug on Superman's cape, and don't hack him either. The Blazers tried yesterday in Game 1 of the Western Conference Final, and Shaquille O'Neal answered with a 41-point performance as L.A. won the opener. With the story, here's Tom Rinaldi.
If Portland's strategy was to bring back Hack-a-Shaq, the Trailblazers got mixed results at best. First of all, O'Neal did not have to shoot a free throw until 3:22 remained in the third quarter, over 32.5 minutes of play before he was tested at the stripe. Then, in the fourth, while attempting a stunning 25 free throws, O'Neal found just enough of his stroke, finishing 13 for 27 in a game that didn't resemble a conference final as much as a free throw shooting competition.
I missed a couple, but I just, stayed with it and...
Quarter, the second. Double-teaming Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal in the low post worked for one quarter for the Blazers, but in the second, the perimeter opened up for L.A. Robert Horry made the Trailblazers pay. 12 points in a 26-4 run that proved too much to overcome.
No, it's just, one of those days when you come out, you shoot. Running solos, put me down on the post and spreading guys around. So we're going to be curious to see what kind of adjustments they're going to make the second half.
When we see that they're going to double team Kobe or...
Goes to the foul line, I think you should stay with it. Here's a terrible defense by Sabonis on that play. Here's Steve Smith way off the basketball. Where's the ball? But they're fouling Shaq. stay with it. I think he has to prove that he can make the key foul shots down the stretch. The one big problem you have is when he's shooting fouls.
Time now for our Federal Express delivery of the week. It comes to us from Mark Jackson. He picks Allen Iverson's pocket, then from his backside, still dishes to Dale Davis for the hoop. Take another look at action. Jackson getting it done. The steal, the pass, and the bucket. And there's your Federal Express delivery of the week.